Hey guys, it's Craig McRae here from Kick It to Scoops. I am the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumours and results. You want to be part of the show, Kick It to Scoops? Send through your questions through the Facebook link, which I'll attach every show on the post. And if you want to email me at aflinfolive@gmail.com, send through your questions and you may feature on the show and be answered your question from yours truly, Craig McRae, for free. Yes, for free. If you want to be on the show, as I said, send it through and I'll get back to you. Go Saints. Too easy this is. Kick It to Scoops.
Hello everyone and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Cooper Gretsch, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumours and results. And I have a very, very big show for you guys today. The main event is normally at the end of a show or a match or event, whatever. The main event is going to start right now, and that is my one-on-one interview with the new Collingwood Football Club coach, Craig McRae. So you've seen a sneak preview last week, which I'd shown asking him whether Mason Cox would stay at the club, considering Max Lynch departed to the Hawks. And he said exclusively last Thursday to me, and I showed you that clip last Thursday, that Mason Cox would sign a new deal with the Pies. Pretty much hinted at that. And he has today. It's Mason Cox has signed a new one-year deal. But you want to see that and the whole interview in full? Before I get into what else I'm going to talk about today, we're going to start off with the main event right now. Enjoy. Leave your thoughts down below. I'm joined here by the new Collingwood Football Club coach, Craig McRae. Thanks for coming on, Craig.
No worries, Cooper. Tell me a bit about yourself. Just fill me in quickly.
Yeah. Just started this Kick It to Scoops on in May. Had Tom Morris from Fox Footy help me get the podcast out there, which people can see on the channel. And then, just have a weekly podcast where I talk footy, normally when the games are on. But recently been talking about the trade period. And I had a few guests on in the past, Sarah Ollie from Fox Footy, Joanne Wagner from the Recruit. And I'm just trying to build it bigger and better than ever, and hopefully having you on today can help it lead to bigger and better things.
Yeah, good on you, mate. I'm looking forward to having a chat.
Thank you. First of all, the nickname Fly, where did that come about? How did that come about?
Well, mate, unfortunately, I've had it for about 20 years. So I've tried to reclaim my name, Craig, for a while, but when I was growing up in Adelaide, I played for Glenelg in the SANFL, and I was only a young lad, and as we do when we're young, you sort of experiment with your haircuts, and I chose to get an undercut haircut, which I thought was all the rage at that time. But little did I know, the haircut made me look like Marty McFly out of Back to the Future. So then most of my teammates started calling me McFly, and eventually the Mac dropped the Mac, and then I become Fly. So here I am, still 20 odd years later, still with the name.
Now, this is not the first time I believe that you appointed at Collingwood. Now, obviously, now the coach, but this isn't the first time you had the Pies, is it?
No, this is my second coming. Yeah, you're right. I was head of development in 2011 through to 2016. First year was Mick Malthouse. We made a grand final and lost to the Cats, obviously. But yeah, I enjoyed my time at Collingwood, and had a great relationship with a lot of staff here that are still here, which is it's going to stand me in good stead.
Yeah. What type of coach do you want to be? Like, you're an attacking coach. What type of coach would you like to be at the Pies?
A winning coach. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? I think it's an interesting. Sorry, mate.
So, coach in the Vivo was successful. They're winning a premiership there.
Yeah. Like I think winning's an outcome, and I've mentioned this publicly before that learning the process of winning is important. But I think the coach I want to be is the best version of me. I think just an authentic guy that tries to get the best out of its players and staff, and develop a game plan that the fans will be proud of. Whether it's some weeks will be more attacking than others, and ultimately it's been a team that people want to come and watch.
What's your current thoughts of the list? Obviously, you're just coming in now, but obviously in the trade period, you brought in Pat Lipinski, Nathan Kruger to bring a few. And what's your overall thoughts of the list so far? Because you've got a pretty good back half.
Yeah. I'm just getting my head around it myself. We've had a good planning week last week, and putting players into potential positions, and seeing where the best fits are. I think it's just too early to tell on some players. I've been trying to watch footage around them, but until you actually get to see them out on the training track and see if things are capable of, I think it's a bit early to tell. But one thing I will say is that there's enough talent on the list to be competitive, and we certainly want to fast track our young players and make them as good as we can, as quick as we can.
Obviously, now it's not officially happened yet, but it would be great to bring in Nick Dacos with an early draft pick.
Yeah, well, I'm in my office at the minute, and I'm looking out to the gym, and I can see him out there nearly every day. He's getting stronger every day that I see him. He's in with his brother, and his brother looks like he's getting stronger. So there's I think they might push each other to a next level of their own development. It'll be nice.
Now, I suppose it's obviously too hard to tell, but is there big expectations for Nick next year in terms of consistently getting a spot in the 22, or will he have to work his way into it?
Well, like any player, you got to, perform well to keep your spot in the team. But I think Nick is like all our players that we want to set him up to have a career best pre-season. He's clearly, a really talented player that I think can play a role within our system. We're just going to find out where that fits at the minute and let him get in, find his feet, take away a bit of the expectation. It's going to be hard to do because the external noise is really loud. But in terms of being inside the four walls, we'll just allow him to find his feet and again try to get the best out of himself and improve as quick as he can.
Yeah. As I just mentioned briefly before, Pat Lipinski and Nathan Kruger coming in from Collingwood for Collingwood. What's your expectations of Pat and Nathan?
Well, I think they're a little bit different to Nick, and we traded for those guys. We want to get them into our footy club, and when you do that, you got to give. You're clearly getting those players into your team to be in your best 22. So you want to give them a chance to prove that and earn that spot. And like I've said to them privately, your magnet's going to start on the board. It's up to you to keep it there. So they'll get opportunities, and we think they can fill roles in, whether it's a key forward or through the midfield like Pat. We're excited what they can bring to the table to our team.
Now, obviously, it's well publicised that in the trade period with Graham and I mentioned also that you tried to get in a small forward, and obviously Bobby Hill picked Essendon, that didn't, and it's ended up staying at GWS. Would it be fair to say that during either the draft or even through the delisted free agencies with a few small forwards delisted, that might be an area you'd try and get in this draft period?
Yeah, I think so, Cooper. I think that's an area that I think we can explore. It's the infancy of the looking for that player, if you like. Bobby was a player that was presented to us that had looking for opportunity. We were excited by what that could look like. It didn't quite come through, which is disappointing for him, but also opportunity for us to keep exploring. So it's somebody we think there's a need to be filled. We've got some capability within our team, but we'd like to think we could find somebody else to support that too.
Well, I just got a few examples here. Obviously, these are two players that were let go and probably harshly by their own clubs. Jack Loney from St Kilda and Michael Gibbons from Collingwood. Would those two be of any interest in that particular role?
Well, I haven't actually looked at the details of names, so I'm not going to put it out there in public that we are looking at individuals, but we're certainly trying to find the right person, the right fit. We'll get the list of names if you like, and then at the appropriate time, find the ones that fit our needs.
One other man who's currently on your list is Mason Cox, and obviously his future's been questioned. Obviously, with Max Lynch going out, would it be fair to say that he'd be more than likely would stay at Pie, considering Max Lynch's departure?
Oh, we'd like to hope so. I've been deliberate in terms of my commentary around Mason because I've had a strong relationship with him for a long time. So I want to separate the emotion from what's required for our list. So I've let Derek Hine and Graham Wright handle all the negotiations and comments around that. Now it's got to the point where we're progressing towards Mason hopefully staying or the opportunity of potentially staying, I think I'll have a stronger say in what that looks like, just in terms of positional and opportunities. But I'll still leave the contract side to the people that are employed to do those roles.
Also, it's been shown in the last few days that Jordan De Goey is actually in America doing some training. Obviously his position under Bucks, he was mainly as a forward, but then before Bucks' departure, was playing a bit more midfield. Would that mixture of mid-forward be the plan for Jordan, or?
Yeah, the detail of that, I think it'll come out in light of day. One thing I will say is how excited I am that our players, not only Geordie, but our players are continuing to try to get themselves better. And I'm seeing it actively, in the office at the minute. Every day the players are coming in and trying to improve themselves. And, for someone of Geordie's talent to hear the language that he's coming out, he's excited by getting better. He's going overseas to improve himself. I think, when we have that as a collective in our environment, I think success will follow, on the field. So we continue to want our players to keep getting better. And Geordie's language, I've been rapt to hear from the media sources when I've spoken to him as well.
Who are some particular players to watch out for that the fans may, not expect, some players towards the younger age, or that could build up to be players to watch out for next year? Well,
there's a host of them. I think Reef is certainly a player that we're excited about. He's put on a bit of weight. I'm watching him in the gym just recently. He looks really strong. Finn McRae looks like he's put on some size as well. They're really coming on and looking like young men now. They're ready to take that next step in their careers. I don't want to single them out, but we've got a lot of young talent that we're looking to put on show and give opportunity to. So, again, hopefully you come watch us play this year and you'll see a lot of young players that maybe you haven't seen before and high numbers on their backs. But, we're looking forward to getting them in the AFL system and being really good players as quick as we can.
Now, obviously, you're clearly not going to have to reveal your plans here, but if the captain's obviously Pendles has obviously recently signed a 2-year extension, is it clear cut as saying that if he wants it, it'll be his next year, or is it still up for grabs with Tay Adams or someone else like that?
Yeah, I think so, Cooper. I've had that conversation with Pendles, and the last conversation I had was I have confidence in him making the decision he thinks right for him and the footy club. I think he's earned that right. I'll have another conversation with him getting closer to when training starts and just see where his head's at. I haven't put a time frame on it. I don't think we need to at this stage, but the ball's in his court. If he wants to captain, he'll be the captain. If he thinks it's time for him to step aside and let someone else step up, well, that'll be a decision that'll be made as well.
Now, a bit off topic towards yourself. When you're in your playing days, what type of play would you describe yourself when you played?
I was a role player in my eyes. I think I started my career as a sneaky, wispy half forward that used to love kicking goals, and in the end, I've become a chase and pressure player. But I think I'm a perfect example of somebody that worked really hard to get an opportunity, and a perfect example of somebody that was looked better in a well-performing team. So, role players are critical in the way that we're going to try to play in the future too. So, and I saw that firsthand at Richmond, how important role players are. But I think I was lucky to arrive at the right time in Brisbane, and fortunate enough to also to say that I think I got the best out of my ability.
Now, is it right in my saying that you actually played with Michael Voss?
Yeah, I played. Michael Voss was our captain. Yep.
Yeah, I want to show you, and it's actually from Michael Voss talking about you. So just see what you reckon about it.
And really, conditions perfect, unlike last week, as McRae lets one go and kicks a goal. 50-metre line, Hopgood there. Now McRae onto his right boot, throws it, kicks it, snaps it. Fleet goal from McRae.
Craig McRae had a few injuries with groins and so forth, so it was good that he ran into a bit of form. With that particular game also, we had a lot of people that had the flu.
So absolutely, Craig, that was just some of your highlights there in your playing days. With Vossi was mentioned there as well, but obviously you're pretty wrapped for him getting the new gig at Carlton.
I am, but I was a little bit interested to look at how my hair looked way back then. Hence I think that's where I started getting my nickname. I think I'm wrapped for Vossi. We're very close. We've been close for a long time. It'll make Collingwood Carlton games interesting. Two close friends going hard at it. I caught up with Vossi for a dinner not too long ago, and we're going to be. It's going to be good to be in a position where we're both in the roles we're in and be able to bounce ideas off each other. Clearly not when we're playing each other, but it's good to have a close friend that's going to go through similar stresses throughout the year and have someone to rely on or bounce ideas off. So I'm wrapped for him. He's worked really hard. Got opportunities, in his words, got opportunities through his name, and now he had to work really hard on his experiences to get the Carlton job. So I wish him all the best.
Just a final message, Craig, for all the many thousands of supporters you got down the Pies.
Well, I've said this before. I think that the footy world's been starved of things they've loved, like going to the footy and having a beer or having a pie or cheering their teams on loud. So I can't wait for us to be COVID free, if you like, and open the doors and open our hearts back up to all our Collingwood supporters to be able to come and watch us train and watch us play and rub shoulders and all I'll say is that we're going to be doing everything we can to make them proud and to make up for some lost time so they can cheer nice and loud. So good to be on your show, Cooper. I appreciate you giving up your time.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks for coming on, Craig.
No worries, mate. All the best.
So, guys, what did you think of that? The chat with the new Collingwood coach, Craig McRae. I really appreciate Craig for giving plenty of time for me today on the show. He's a great guy, Craig. We spoke for a fair bit off-air, pre-recording and post-recording. He's a great guy, Craig, so I really appreciate him coming on. Pies fans, all your questions got answered that you wanted to hear, and fans from other clubs as well, not just Pies fans. But again, I really appreciate Craig for coming on the show. It's a big moment for me on this show, Kick It to Scoops, having Craig on. We've had some great guests, as I mentioned in the past, Tom Morris, Sarah Ollie, Bev, Johan, Yowie, Wagner. But none gets any bigger than the new Pies coach, the most popular club in the AFL and the Collingwood Footy Club, the new coach, Craig McRae. So again, Craig, or Fly, thanks again for coming on the show, mate. Really do appreciate that. Now, what else are we going to go through today on the show? We got the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang, which is normally the start of the show, but had to move the main event to the start of the show because it's Craig McRae. But also on the show today, as I just mentioned, Scoops Goes Bang. We will also have some draft talk. Now, I went through it last week, my top 21 rankings, but I'm going to go, you're going to see the graphic up here later, and I'm going to go through that also. Any other news that comes through, we'll mention it. But we'll start off with this. You want me on, well, not start off really, because we start off with the main event. Did I tell you that? If you missed it, go rewind and watch it in full. It's there in full, Craig McRae. You want me on Cameo? Head to cameo.com/Cooper G merch. There is merch still on the site, but if you want a t-shirt or a hoodie, preferably, I'm kind of set at a date now, November 7th. It may extend a few days after that, but to be safe, I'm running with November 7th for right now. So if you want a t-shirt or hoodie that's on the website right now, whether it's the Acknowledge Me t-shirt, which Craig did acknowledge me, and you can believe that. If you want that top, any other top, the hoodie, prefer you to order it before November 7th. If you want it before Christmas, that is probably the date we'll have to lock in to order that stuff by. If you want it for Christmas or by Christmas, you better order before November 7th. But after November 7th, there'll still be mugs. Well, there's 3 as of this recording right now, so there may be none left by the end of this episode, but there's 3 right now. So if you want that, I think it might even be 2. So let's just say there's 2 left. So get on the website now and get your mug today. There's also stickers on there, a certain amount of stickers there. There's always going to be stubby holders because, they're good. And we ordered so much. And there's also, what else? There's so much stuff. And there's hats. I think there's 4 hats on there, and you can get your hats today. Each item says how many there is left of that particular hat on the site. So go and get yours today. If you want it for Christmas, as I said, try and order before November 7th. Right, let's start up. Let's not. See, I get so confused because I always start with this segment. But let's now move to the next segment, the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Boom. Oh, boy. What am I going to bang on about, Scoops, you're going to say? Well, I'm going to bang on about this. It's particular clubs delisting good play. Well, like people are going to say, Cooper, they can't be good if they got delisted. They're good, solid players that some clubs would keep and would want to have, hence why some pick them up as delisted free agents. There's a whole compiled a list of delisted players that I wrote on a Facebook post a few weeks ago, and it was a list of 19 to 20, but now since some have been delisted or got picked up or will be picked up elsewhere, I've taken them off the list or have re-signed. So it's now the list of 18 delisted players who deserve another go. I'm going to run through the list right now. We've got Jack Loney, Michael Gibbons, Jared Leanett, Boyd Woodcock, Charlie Constable, Ollie Hanrahan, Pat Nage, Braden Sire, Brett Bewley, Sam Reid from GWS, James Cousins, Michael Hartley, Jared Brander, who will be at GWS, Damien Greaves, Ryan Garthwaite, Mark Hutchings, Hamish Hartlett, Caden Brand. And now add to that 18, actually can make back to 19 and make it 20, actually. Sean Atley from the Roos and Trent Dumont. That makes 20. Now, those listed guys, I could see pretty much all of them, maybe of them 20, maybe 16 I could see in another club. Do I think they all will? No. I think maybe about 6 or 7 of these guys probably will, to be honest. But yeah, the ones I want to mention in particular are these 4. Trent Dumont, Jack Loney, Michael Gibbons, and Charlie Constable. So that means I'm referring to St Kilda, Carlton, Geelong, and North Melbourne. Oh, Brady, you made some poor choices in your list management crew in terms of delisting Sean Atley, Tommy Campbell, who's set to join the Saints, and Trent Dumont. Trent Dumont, the 26-year-old, who in his first 7 of 8 years in his career at the Roos, he was a regular starter. He was a great player for you guys, a really good player through the midfield. And this year, to his credit, he's said on SEN and Co, had some form slumps, but he had some major injuries, which kept him out for the majority of the year. So I suppose he's cutting himself short by saying it was form. Mainly injuries. Trent came back at some point mid-year, I think it was, and then he was playing some VFL games, and obviously there was no more VFL, so he really didn't get much of a chance to prove himself, and then was cut. For a guy that's played, I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but it's around 120 career games in 8 years. You delist someone like that? Gee, is that how you treat your loyal servants, Brady? Brady, whatever. Brady, that is pathetic. Trent Dumont's a good player. People want to say, they want to move to the future scoop. Taryn Thomas, Jai Simpkin, all good options. But you can't keep Trent Dumont on the list. At least some people say he's not in our best 22 no more. Are you kidding me? A guy that was a regular for 7 of his first 8 years and only injury-riddled this year was probably why he wasn't in the side. Then cut? David Noble's done a good job. I blame more Brady Rawlings for this. That is a terrible, terrible move. And Trent Dumont said he's got some interest from a few clubs, and I can exclusively reveal that those 2 clubs, as I posted last week on Facebook, that they are Geelong and Essendon. And at this stage, it looks like his preference is Essendon. He's from SA, but it could go to the Crows. But heavily, the 2 clubs at the moment are Essendon and Geelong, with Essendon the more likely destination as of right now, but that could change. The list of free agency opens up next week, next Wednesday. It runs for about 10 days. And then there'll be another window from like the 15th of November to the 19th, something like that. But poor move. Absolutely poor move from the Roos, given Trent Dumont the flick. Don't think I'm ending there. Jack Loney, my good old mate Loans. Small forward for the Saints, probably 7th or 8th year as well. Really solid small forward. Always been a fan of Loans. I cannot believe every single week St Kilda would either drop him when he was in or not reward him and put him in when he deserved to be in. Dan Butler had some poor games this year, previous to his previous All-Australian worthy year that he did not get. Ridiculous. This year, though, he dropped off a little bit. Jack Higgins had some off games as well. Dean Kent was the same. Well, he had some concussion issues early, but I digress. And Loney was, as I also exclusively reported on my Facebook page a while ago, Jack Loney was cut and not given a game in the back half of the year because he was 1 game away from triggering an automatic 1-year contract extension. That is pathetic. I said on the post at the time, like Brady, I'd say, is this how you treat them, Rats? And James Gallagher, who's also done a good job of his list management. But this one is pathetic. I do not like this move. St Kilda have done some poor moves over the time with Jack Loney, Josh Bruce, Tom Hickey, Jack Nunes. They're just some. And there's probably some. Shane Savage is another one. And Dylan Robertson. Now people can say, yes, Cooper, he retired from heart issues, which, again, we wish Robert all the best. But when they could have played him last year, 2020, played round one, they dropped him and never to see him again, then playing scratch matches. So St Kilda haven't treated some of their good players and regular players well. Savage, Robertson, Webster a couple of times last year as well. Not this year, but the previous year. Then they delisted Loney, let go of Sav, pretty much let go of Robbo as well. And then Tom Hickey, Bruce and Hickey, another two, traded off. Ben McAvoy, if you want to go a long way back. Reece Stanley, if you want to go a long way back. It is absolutely pathetic. I do not like this move. This pisses me off. And they keep Ben Long on the list. Seriously, pathetic. And people say, oh, he's got a year left. He's tough. Loney's not. Loney's a small forward. Long is imitating small forwards. He is not a small forward. They tried him off half back. Did not work. Why keep him? They've shown Essendon were interested. Essendon didn't get a small forward, and they still didn't want him, clearly. Interesting. Pathetic. I don't like this move. Loan should get snapped up. He had Collingwood, Carlton, Bulldogs, and GWS interested in the past. And I did ask, as you heard, I asked Craig McRae about Loney, and the next guy I'm going to get to, Michael Gibbons. So, yeah, they should get another go. Now, Michael Gibbons, I just spoke of. Gibbo played 47 games with Carlton in 3 years. Now, Steve Silvani was one that picked him up. He's now obviously no longer at Carlton. But he got a regular game under David Teague in his first few years. And then this year, played a handful of games, maybe I think it was around 11, 13. And then Carlton cut him. Now, how could you cut Michael Gibbons, who played 47 games in 3 years? So he's pretty much a regular. 11 games, you can say, oh, this year is not really regular, but it's more than probably half the list that outside of the best 22 players, regular best 22 players. It's probably in the mid-range of games played for the season. So it'd be probably a handful of 8 guys or so that wouldn't even play one, let alone 11 or 13. Carlton then go Michael Gibbons. I did not like this move. I thought it was terrible. It was disgusting. Now, they said that he wasn't flexible enough to play midfield as well. Like Gibbo said, you never tried him in the midfield. His entirety of his AFL games were playing amazingly as a small forward. To say he wasn't flexible and agile enough to play midfield, you didn't try him there, Carlton. That is another dumb excuse. It's just we don't value them or we don't like them, so we don't want them. This, dancing around, he's a loyal son. We love Jack. We love Trent. We love Gibbo. That's just your generic, formulaic, spewed out line to satisfy members. That is truly not what they think. Giro was a really solid player, and with like Loans and Dumont and Constable, which we'll get to finally next, pathetic moves, absolutely garbage. Now, Constable, is an interesting one. Geelong will say they really value Charlie. They said it's the last 2 years. Now, when I exclusively reported, last few years, Constable once out. Geelong denied it, Charlie being the club player at the time, contracted Geelong player at that time, said, no, it's not true, mate. Well, it was. They also tried to do it this year. They then admitted they tried to get him last year. Funny, who reported that? Oh, me. And then Geelong tried denying it to me. And then his management tried denying it last year. Then this year they come out and say they tried to get him out last year. No one wanted him. This year, or not at the right price that probably Geelong wanted, which is always unrealistic, wanting to pick up Jordan Clark. Give me a break. Constable, they refuse to play young players at Geelong. If you're not over 30, if you're over 30, you get a game. If you're under 30 and you're not a favourite of Geelong's, you don't get a game. Look at Constable. Look at Clark. Look at Narkle. Look at Sam DeConning. Go look at players like that. Surprised Josh Jenkins didn't get a regular game. He was over 30. Radical, he's a favourite of theirs. Shouldn't be getting a regular game, and he does. It's the Constable. was averaging 38 possessions this year in the VFL. I know they played only about 8 games, but that's pretty solid if you ask me. And people can say, oh, Luke Dunson's a little similar. They're both not great kicks. But Charlie A is younger. He's got time on his hands, and he's had better VFL games than Dunstan did in terms of efficiency and everything like that. Charlie wasn't given a go with AFL. Dunstan was, and Dunstan proved to be the continuous thing he did was butcher the ball. Charlie had some solid AFL games without butchering the ball. And some of these big names do also butcher the ball. So Charlie was screwed out of Geelong or be shocked, absolutely gobsmacked and shocked if he does not get picked up. But those are the 4 at the moment that have pissed me off, from Geelong, St Kilda, Carlton and North Melbourne. So those clubs and list management, lift your games. Some other names, too, just quickly here. Jared Leanett from Poilate, Boyd Woodcock from Poilate, 2 players that were all minor league stiff. Ollie Hanrahan, who's been linked to St Kilda and GWS, small forward. Paddy Naish, also linked to St Kilda. Braden Sire hasn't really been linked to anyone, an inside mid from Collingwood. Brett Bewley from Freo, who played the last game against the Saints and played a handful of games throughout the year. Some as a sub, some as a regular 22. It's been talked by Paul Amy, the VFL guru, that he may be heading to local footy. I'm really shocked at this. Brett Bewley was a solid play for Freo. I just say to Brett, play VFL, mate, or Sanford, whatever you want to, what state you're going to be in, just play there. And hopefully you can rejuvenate your career, mate, because you're pretty solid. I wouldn't be giving up right now. Sam Reid from GWS, been delisted about 6 times, retired a couple of times. Sam's publicly said his journey is a long journey. It's an interesting one. Played, I think, 106 games or so over a long 12-year period, I think it is. And actually, it might be 14 years. So he's coached in the NEFL. He's done everything, Sam Reid, but it might be the end for him. James Cousins from Hawthorn. I thought he was pretty stiff, to be honest. So he might have a couple of suitors out there as a rookie, or even in the preseason supplementary period. Jared Brander's going to the Giants. Tommy Campbell. So this actually makes it 21, not 20. Tommy Campbell was set to join the Saints. Michael Hartley set to play for. He will play for Collingwood's VFL, so he's kind of off the list. But I thought he could have been given another go somewhere. Damien Greaves, not so sure, but he was okay. Ryan Garthwaite from Richmond VFL. I wouldn't rule out Collingwood as an option, maybe for the VFL side also, but they've got Michael Hartley now. Mark Hutchings, Eagles tagger, former Saint. He might, but probably not. Hamish Hartley been linked to the Gold Coast, but that may or may not happen. We'll have to wait and see. And Caden Brand from the Swans, former Hawk. I don't think that would happen. Tarley obviously retired with injuries for this year, ruled it out now. Tommy Lynch will join North Melbourne as an AFL rookie, but maybe do the Tyson Goldsack role. I hope you guys enjoyed that long, extensive edition of Scoops. Goes bang, 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 bang. Right. Now, we'll move on to, I did not mention this at the start. How could I forget this? Well, I posted on the Facebook page. We're going to go through my 2022 best 22s for 3 clubs. And those 3 clubs are St Kilda, Adelaide, and the Pies. So let's now start off with my best 2022, best 22 for the Saints. From the back line, back pockets, Jimmy Webster and Cal Wilkie. The fullback, Dougal Howard. The half-back line, the flankers, Jack Sinclair and Hunter Clark. Centre half-back, Tommy Highmore. Wingers, Jack Billings and Brad Hill. The centreman, that man of steel, Jack Steele. The forward line, the half-forward line first, the flankers, Cooper Sharman, me, and Timmy Membry. Centre half forward, Rowan Marshall. The forward pockets, Dan Buller and the returning Jay Gresham. Full forward, Winks, the man they call Winks, Max King. The ruckman, Paddy Rodder. The rover and ruck rover, Brad Crouch and Zach Jones. The interchange, Jack Higgins, Dan McKenzie, D-Mac, Seb Ross and Dan Hanbury. The emergencies, the skipper or co-skipper, Jaron Geary, Josh Battle, Ben Patton, Jack Bytel, Ryan Burns, Mason Wood, Dean Kent and Leo Connolly. Let me know your thoughts, Saints fans, or fans of any other clubs, of that best 2022 for the Saints. Now, you can say Gears are stiff. I wanted to fit Gears in, but looking at the list, it'd probably have to be at an expense of a Cooper Sharman or a Seb Ross. So it's a bit hard. Again, it depends what side of the ground Gears wants to play. If he's playing as a forward, you got Gresh back as well, and you got Butler and Higgins. So it's a bit hard to pick. So Gears may have to wait. Josh Battle, versatile. They said he might play as a centre back. He could come in if he's going to play as a backman, especially if Saints don't bring in one through the delist francy period or the rookie draft. So that's the side I'll settle with. Saints fans, let me know your thoughts down below. Jack Bytel as well. I mean, Ben Patton people will say, Coops, how can you know Pato in? He come back from an injury, and Rats said they're not guaranteed a spot, and he proved that this year by not playing some regulars from the previous years. So, look, Pato might be in there, but he's not guaranteed. And Jack Bytel, Byron Burns, players that played regularly this year, Burns did. Returning Hanbury, if he's all fit. Ross is in there as well. So, then you got Crouch, Jones, a Steele, and you got returning Gresham. So, someone had to go out, and it was those two. And I wouldn't rule out Mason Wood coming in the side either. Now we'll move on to my 2022 best 22 for the Collingwood Football Club. Pies fans, get ready for this. From the back line, the back pockets, Isaac Quainer and Jeremy Howe. How's he get there? Jordan Ruffett at fullback. The back flankers, Braden Maynard and Jack Crisp with his crisp disposal. And the centre half back, Darcy Moore. How many more times am I going to put him there? I had to do those gags. How Crisp and Moore. Now, Crisp, with his crisp disposal, people can say he's going to play in midfield this year. I know. But I put him back there because they've got some other players that can play in that midfield role, and he can rotate there too. The wing is Scott Pendlebury and the new addition from the Western Bulldogs, Pat Lipinski. Taylor Adams, the centreman. The half-forward line, Josh Dacos and Brody Milchek. The flankers, the centre half-forward, Darcy Cameron. The forward line, the pockets, Jamie Elliott and Nathan Kruger, the new recruit from the Cats. The full forward, the newly re-signed Mason Cox. The ruckman and Brody Grundy, the ruck rover and rover, Jordan Digoe and Steele Sidebottom. The interchange, Nick Dacos, the new gun father-son recruit set to join the Pies like Horn Francis will at North. Pick one. Callum Brown, Trent Bianco, and Finlay McRae, who fly Craig McRae spoke really high of Finlay McRae, and no, they're not related. Emergencies, Johnny Noble just signed a 2-year deal. Will Kelly, Ollie Henry, Tyler Brown, Tom Wilson is the emergencies for me. But they'll have some more picks for some draftees, so depending on what positions they are, they bring in any free agents. Small forwards, as you've seen in my interview with Craig McRae, they said they are interested in, so maybe for Jack Loney or a Michael Gibbons could come to interest, which I asked Craig about. I have to wait and see. But Pies fans and fans of any other clubs, let me know your thoughts on my best 22 for 2022 for the Pies. Pat Lipinski, as you heard, that Craig spoke very highly of, and of Kruger as well. So, a lot to like for the Pies. I like this mix of Cameron and Myercheck and Jamie Elliott, if all staying fit. Then you got, Cox and Kruger there as well. So, Brody Grundy is the best ruckman in the comp. I don't care what anyone says. Max Thorne's good, very good, clearly too, but I think Grundy's the best. That back line, as I mentioned to Craig, Quainer, Ruffett, Howe, Maynard, Moore, Crisp. I wasn't crisp in my words there. Quainer, Ruffett, Howe, Maynard, Moore, Crisp. Pretty damn good back six if you ask me. Ruffhead's been underrated this year in 2021. And Quainer done pretty well, young exciting player. Jeremy Howe, when he's injury-free, going there for those high-flying marks. He's a great kick as well. Maynard, what can I say more? He's a tough, competitive player. Great bloody kick. Crisp is the exact same. And Darcy Moore is probably the best centre-half backman in the competition. And, Pies fans of other clubs, let me know your thoughts on my 2022 best 22 for the Pies. Now, we'll move on to my final best 22 for 2022 today. And that 2022, best 2022, I butchered that, didn't I? I had to do it at some point. My 2022, best 22 for the Crows. Now, from the back line, the back pockets, Luke Brown and Lockie Scholl. Fullback, Jordan Butts. The half back line, the new gun recruit, Jordan Dawson, and one of the best young intercept defenders in the competition, Tommy Duday. The centre-half backman, I've gone with Nick Murray. The wingers, Paul Seedsman and Brodie Smith. The centreman, the former backman, Rory Laird, who dominated this year as a midfielder. Half forward line, Roy Sloan and Ned McHenry. The centre half forward person, the Tex Walker. Forward pockets, Lockie Murphy and James Rowe. One of your row his boat to the forward pocket line. Haven't done that one before. Darcy Fogarty, the machine at full forward. The ruckman, Riley O'Brien, the rover and ruck rover, Ben Keys and Matt Crouch. In change, Riley Thilthorpe, Harry Schonberg, Shane McAdam and Wayne Malira. The emergency, Sam Berry, Andrew McPherson, Will Hamill, Elliot Himmelberg and Billy Frampton. Crows fans and fans of other clubs, let me know your thoughts down below. My 2022, best 22 for the Crows. I like the mixture, though, of Duday, Murray, Dawson, the highly underrated Luke Brown, Lockie Scholl, so one of the best kicks in the comp, and Jordan Butts. Pretty solid backline, actually. Yeah, it might be young and inexperienced, but I like Murray and Butts and Scholl. And then you got the experience of Luke Brown and Jordan Dawson and the intercept king, future captain of the club, Tommy Duday. So they're pretty solid back six, if you ask me. And I mean, you can really have my whole centre, the centreman and my wingers as backmen as well. Smith, Seaman and Laird. They're all being pushed to the wing in midfield now. I mean, it's pretty strong. Those players are all very capable playing the back line, but you've got Dawson and Duday and Brown and Scholl. Then you've got your key pillars in Butts and Murray. And there's a few others that could push there too. I mean, pretty solid if you ask me, and young too, which is good for the Crows. And pushing Sloan to the four line is also a good thing. With Carlton last week, I had Paddy Cripps in the half four line. Just a good thing to have, good problem to have. People say they can play midfield. Of course they can play midfield, and probably will play midfield, but they have the capabilities of playing forward. And Rory Sloan did show that in a few games this year, and Cripps has shown that multiple times for the Trolls to say he didn't. And Fogarty, I mean, he's a low possession getter, but Tex, who was up there in the Coleman this year, had he not been suspended late in the year, could have won the Coleman. Same with Josh Bruce, had he not been injured. So it's a good thing for the Crows to have. And you got Wayne Miller, I'll probably come back from an Achilles injury. So, all to be happy with it. The Crows, and even Andrew McPherson and Will Hamill, two emergencies I had there, I think are more than capable of sliding into that back half as well. So they're probably a bit stiff, but the other options have got on the ground are in front of those guys. And even Wayne Malira as well, to a lesser degree. So there will be some more 2022 best 22s in upcoming weeks. I've gone through 3 today. I went through 2 last week. So it leaves 13 more to go before the draft. So I'll be loading them up in the next few weeks. You'll probably have Fremantle, you'll have Brisbane, you'll have Geelong, you'll have Hawthorn, we'll have all those other clubs, guys, in the upcoming weeks before leading up to the draft. So don't you worry. And then after the draft, I'll probably do them yet again. Now, speaking of the draft, I'm going to go through some draft talk here. Now, as you can see on the screen, I have my top 21 AFL draft rankings for this year's draft crop. Now, you can see the list in front of you, so I'll just run through some of the names, though. Jason Horne-Francis, Nick Dacos, Finn Callahan, Ben Hobbs, Sam Darcy, Mac Andrew, Matthew Johnson, Marcus Windhanger, Josh Ward, Machito Owens, Sam Butler, Tyler Sonsey, Josh Goda, Josh Gibbers, Jaya Miss, Josh Rochelle, Neil Erasmus, Arlo Draper, Josh Sin, Campbell Cheeser, and Toby Conway. I was going to say Conroy. Toby Conway. Thinking of the Gold Coast young ruck, Matt Conroy. But Toby Conway, they're in the list. Now, you can see the list in front of you, but the ones I just want to mention today are Jason Horne-Francis and Nick Dacos. I had a few people online telling me that Nick Dacos, how could you not have him at number 1? Now, again, keep in mind, this is not a fandom draft. I will do a fandom draft the week prior to the draft. But, it's people are going to compare the stats. Dacos was averaging 35 possessions, I think, over 5 games in NAB League. Jason Horne-Francis was averaging 16 touches in 8 Sandford League against men games. That's a difference against men. Nick is a great player, and we spoke to Craig about him, and he's clearly in their plans for the best 22 next year, straight away. But both great. No, I'd be rapt for either club to get either of these two. For any club to get either of these two, be happy with either or Nick or Jason. But I had Jason 1 for a reason. He's an impactful player. Not every player has to have 30-plus possessions. Again, Nick's playing against young kids, and Jason's playing against men in the sample the last 2 years. So the comparisons is this. They're both great. Again, if you had Nick at 1, I wouldn't complain about it. If you have Jason at 1, like I have, I wouldn't be complaining about it. It's purely opinion. And I said to this guy that asked me, one's men playing I said, he's more once playing against Madison playing kids. He said, it doesn't matter. I said, well, for starters, it's 5 games. Jason played 8. So if you balance the average out, once if Nick had a few quiet games, they could jump straight back down to 24, 25. You don't know. So, again, it's completely irrelevant in a way when I get to the AFL, they're not going to be getting stats like that. So it's just going to be, wait and see how they go. Jason Onfres is a mid-forward. Nick Dacos is a mid-forward as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, be right with them. And then the next crop of the rank, I've got Finn Callahan, Hobbs, the next two. They're the 2 mid that I'll be looking forward to if I was a club in that pick, the Gold Coast, the Giants, the Suns, the Crows. So outside of Horn Francis and Dacos, Finn Callahan and Ben Hobbs are the next 2. I am a fan too of the St Kilda NGA guys, Marcus Winghanger and Machito Owens, and Sam Butler. Not because he's the brother of Dan Butler. That's not why. He has some good stats as a mid forward. And all the way at where are we at? 15. I had a few people saying to me about Jaya Miss, a key forward from WA. And people had been saying to me, Coop, he ain't going to go that low. I mean, I think I could rate him higher as well. It's just when I compiled this list together, that's where I had him. Now, when I do a phantom draft, I've got to have him a lot higher. But this isn't really basis off of club needs. This is more off my purely ranking them. It's a mixture of players I debated from. Where are we? From pick 5 all the way down to 16. I was, debating about where I could put them. And that's just an order I've come up with, guys. So don't hate on me for it. It's just my opinion. Yeah, look, some of these guys, when I do a phantom draft, they'll be in completely different spots. And people say, you changed a complete 360. Things change over time. And plus, phantom drafts is more on club needs. Like, for example, I have here, where are we? Mac Andrew at pick 6, right? And he may go pick 2 in the draft because, providing there's no bids on Dacos early, which it probably will. So whenever GWS is picking, they currently got pick 2. So if they keep it, they've shown interest in Mac Andrew. So he may go pick 2 if GWS keep the pick. They may even trade the pick on the draft night. We don't know. But they're interested in Mac Andrews, young ruck. So they might be interested in grabbing him, where then in the fan draft I might have a pick 2, but that doesn't mean I think he's worth pick 2. But GWS might pick a particular need, and he might be their need. So they take him. So, well, they could trade down and get a pick around pick 5 or 6 and think that Mac Andrew will still be available. So, you just got to wait and see and calm down. Calm down, guys, for the people just stressing, going, this guy won't go here. No one knows. Cal don't know. You don't know. It's an opinion, and respect my opinion. And for people that want to disrespect my opinions, don't come disrespecting my opinion without providing your own list. So people want to come shit on me and go, this guy ain't going to go here, this guy won't here. Oh, how can you have him this high? How can you have him this high? Make your own list. Otherwise, shut up. Don't tell me that my list is bad when you can't come up with a list yourself because you're too self-centered. You're, an asshole. Just want to troll on me. Make your own list. If you want to criticize my list, you can disagree. And then if you want to disagree, actually put who you would put ahead and where and why. Don't just come with me, this guy ain't worth this. How could you have this guy this there, this and this? Make your own list or shut up. Plain and simple. Now, guys, appreciate you listening to this interview with Craig McRae. My final thoughts are this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G and merch. You want any of the merch, remember, November 7th is a deadline for T-shirts and hoodies. So get them in before, if you want them guaranteed before Christmas, get them ordered before November 7th so we can get them all shipped out in time and hopefully get them received before Christmas. So, yeah, my final thoughts are this, guys. I'm sure you loved the interview with myself and Craig McRae. If you want any more big name guests, whether it's another coach, current players, there's always a lot of things in the works, journos, whatever. You want anyone, let me know. Try and get them on the show. Help me get them on the show because that would be the plan to get bigger and better. Craig is the biggest guest I've had so far, the best guest. They're all great. Don't get me wrong. Craig, in terms of big name, he's the biggest name so far I've had. I would love to get people like Craig in his position, coaches and players and that. If you want any of them, journos, whatever, you know what to do. Hit me up on Facebook. Let me know who you want. And we'll hopefully get some more on. Appreciate you all. But one thing I want to leave here with, leave a like on the channel to this video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel. We're in the mid thousands at the moment, or 1,500 range. So I want to keep getting that number up. Subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, send the link to your friends, get them to subscribe, like, and comment, and share the video. Appreciate you all. Until next week, everyone, have a great one. The most important thing to remember is go to the Saints, and of course, you better do it because Craig's done it, and that is acknowledge me.